you could have just started the document with "My judgment sucks. Hi, my name's Sinder. And I make bad calls. And I'm really sorry for that." That's what this could have been. That's not what this document is. Nano canceled a large potion. So now we're just blaming Nano. Oh, dude, this is getting worse by the minute. This is insane. This is insane. I can't. This is insane. Holy. Dude, no apologies, I don't think have been made yet in this document. And she's just... Oh my god. I'm trying to keep my hands away from my mouth so I have face... It's not even... Bro, it's not even been 24 fucking hours yet. Why would you put... Like, couldn't you just wait a few days? Maybe? Like, maybe we should have let the situation breathe. You know, maybe we should show that we're, like, literally not so money hungry. That covering my own ass isn't, like, the only thing I'm worried about. I've literally not even read the doc yet, but, you know, from some of the bigger creators here commenting. Wow. Okay, let's get into it. Oh my god, we're finally getting an apology all the way at the end. Girlfriend, you should have copied and pasted this at the top. This is too... Okay. For everything that she has done to Bao, this is too short. All right, I had to remove my hand from my face in my surprise, you know, so I can do face tracking with the VTube character here. All right, so she's put out an apology, and she says, Miss Sinder says, if anyone cares, there's nothing I can say to make this better. No, there's not. That's why this doc shouldn't even be out yet. You should have waited like maybe 72 hours, but okay. I will try my best to properly convey my feelings, frustrations, and mistakes. I love how she's just like running to, yeah, I need y'all to understand my frustrations. Like, girl, where's the apology first? Yeah, she says, I'd like to explain my point of view and apologize to each party affected. I hope so. Like, damn. Okay. Redacted has been my co-content creator since I began making content. Yeah, definitely your first mistake. But anyways, managing all aspects of what I do and being a major part of why I'm here. We've also been in a relationship since the start of my endeavors. Yo, let me stop again. This sounds so weirdly worded. You thought way too hard about those sentences. Anyways, okay. Like, it sounds like, I'm just reading this first few sentences. My reaction is she thought so hard about how to explain this and not just how to apologize. That's instantly what I'm getting from this. And that's a mistake. Anyways, let's continue. No secret that many VTubers choose to keep their public and personal lives separate, and I'm no different. As of yesterday, he's no longer working with me, and I've not extensively discussed any of this with him. Yeah, where a personal situation goes from here will be figured out between us privately. So yeah, she's gonna, like, make him sleep on the couch for a few weeks. You know, like... Yeah, because y'all both got outed as horrible people. It's not like he was only being horrible behind her back. Things that she said were just as bad as things that he said directly to Nanoless. So, yeah, what, the cat's out of the bag, and I guess y'all just will be miserable together. I'm sorry, but it's like, you saw how nasty some of the things Redacted said, and even though it didn't come from Cinder's mouth itself, knowing that she's probably going to sit there and still, like, hang out with this, even if for some reason they break up, I just don't believe that, you know, like, never going to speak to him again or something. Like, it would be great if you could just come out and be like, you know, I'm going to cut this guy off. He is so toxic. He's so bad. Honestly, I feel like I started acting like him because I've been around him and with him for years, and maybe this is my sign to end this relationship and do better for myself, hold myself accountable as a person, because I can't hold another person accountable while holding myself accountable. You know, she could have said that. She could have gone down, but because of the kind of person that she clearly is. Anyways, let me continue. She says, I never intended to mention us publicly. Why? I'm sorry, let me stop again. Why? Why? What? Why? Why is it such taboo? Because it's big content creator girls like that. That's why it's going to continue. You were in a position where you could have. But again, it's never enough for some people. You could have millions of fucking dollars and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. Any way to continue climbing to the top. I get it. Whatever, girly pop. Okay, let's continue. But given that the claims are out there, I want everyone to know I'm taking this seriously. It really doesn't seem like you are. After years of working on everything together, his hyper business oriented outlook warped my view of what it is I should be doing and what should be important to me as I navigate this career path. Let me stop again. Yeah, Sinder, so much to the point that you should say you're cutting him off entirely. Like, the fact that you cannot say just a couple sentences before that, instead of where our personal situation goes from here will be figured out between us privately. No. It's all public now. So what you should have said is, I am publicly cutting him off. I don't want to date him anymore. I don't want him to be part of my life anymore because he's ruined my life. He's made me act like a total bitch, and we ran over a bunch of people together, and the only way that I can keep myself accountable is maybe cutting somebody like this out of my life and making myself a better person. But she's not gonna do that. That's insane, dude. That is so insane. Anyways, like, holy crap. I cannot believe. She goes to say, what should be important to me as I navigate? Yep, I have a terrible work-life balance as it is, and being around projects and streams all day, every day, made me lose sight of the point. It took all of this happening for me to realize this behavior isn't normal or healthy, and it's not an outlook I want to have. This doesn't absolve me of the things I've willingly done and went along with, or the way I've treated people who were fully undeserving. Just not buying this at all. I just want everyone to know I'm like, there's just, it's like she had a team of lawyers sit down and she asked them, hey, how could I not change anything in my life but apologize to everyone and pretend I'm gonna hold myself accountable? In regards to Nanoless, as she continues on here, for the majority of the time working with her, Red was the one almost solely doing the communication about new plans and negotiations through his private DMs. Nano had a project server we were all a part of where the actual art and models were worked on, but the conversations were focused around the work itself. I was not fully aware of the extent of Red's manipulation over Nano's commission's decisions. I should have been more diligent in my oversight. Every time I had been told that Nano had agreed to work on a new commission with me, it had been willingly and with excitement. From my point of view, is that she genuinely wanted to be working on these things. I'm going to stop myself. Sinder, the reason why you overlooked Red manipulating your own artist is because you're such a piece of... You don't realize these things that yourself because it is a character flaw you have in yourself. That's why you have to change it. This is why you need to address it yourself and then probably cut anyone out of your life who makes you act that same way. But I just don't believe for a second that you even acknowledge that, Cinder. Continuing on. From my point of view, it was that she genuinely wanted to be working on these things. I wanted to work with Nano as much as I possibly could, making her art the face of my brand. We had come to the conclusion that it'd be in my best interest to talk with Nano about making more time for my projects by negotiating with her to cut out other work. That seems scummy. Just typing that out, didn't that make you feel a little nasty? Just typing that out? Yeah, this was wrong for us to push on to her. Okay, I guess she maybe understood as she typed that out that was kind of nasty. This was wrong for us to push on to her. It was wrong to the other creators who wanted the chance of working with her. Yeah. There was only one specific creator we were responsible for naming and pressuring Nano into reconsidering projects with, not an entire list. I'm sorry, I don't believe that. Why are you trying to cover your ass for such a simple little detail? Why, Cinder? That detail doesn't matter. Like, these small little nitpicks that you think are going to make you look slightly better in this situation don't matter. That's a useless line in this document. Anyways, continuing. Of her own volition, Nano canceled a large potion. So now we're just blaming Nano. Oh, dude, this is getting worse by the minute. This is insane. This is insane. I can't. This is insane. Holy. Dude, no apologies, I don't think have been made yet in this document. And she's just... Oh my god. I'm trying to keep my hands away from my mouth so I have face tracking because I'm just like, oh my fucking god. Woo! Nano canceled a large portion of her model commissions last September. However, the claim that I was just using her is wrong. Why? How? How could that possibly be wrong? 'Cause I've always treated Nano with respect and as my friend. You gaslit her in your own DMs, Cinder. I read them. You straight up. Okay, whatever. Okay. Yep. Uh-huh. Wow. I did give her a lot of work, and we did everything we could to accommodate her schedule if she needed more time or a break. No, y'all were working her to the point that she made this doc and outed you. You pushed her to that breaking point. So for you to sit here and say, we did everything we could to accommodate, you were actively pushing on her the reason why her schedule was so compact with somebody because of you. Even helped her with her own project payments multiple times. What does that mean? She's an artist. She works. She gets money. What? I don't understand. Whatever. I invited her on my stream. Yeah, the stream in which Nano has felt like... Or no, was it not Nano? I think it was the editor who felt like they were being harassed in front of thousands of people for something being late when it wasn't even their fault that it was late. That stream, Cinder? I hope we're not talking about, like, that stream in particular. But no, I don't think so. Anyways, invite her on my stream. I've sent her merch and things she's made for me. Always open to talking to her about things outside of our projects. In the instances, we would message each other. Regarding an exclusivity deal made between them, I had no part in the direct negotiations of their eventual agreement, and I had no knowledge of Bao and Cotton being included in this list. This seems like lies. If I had known my friends were included, I would have said something to put a stop to it. That seems like lies. You would have... No, Cinder. No. You would have put a stop to this long ago. This would have never been an issue if your person who you're dealing with, your content creator, manager, boyfriend, didn't think you already had it in your head that these people were like, competition and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like they were someone who you felt you needed to step on their toes in order for you to step up. And he knew that you felt that way. I'm sure y'all had conversations about it and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, that is why he, you know, would have added them into a list and probably assumed that you were okay with it. Even if you weren't, even if in your head, even if you would have read it and been like, no, I don't want her to only be exclusive, just to count them out or something like that. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that you made it seem that way because of other stuff that you allowed to happen and probably talked about and stuff. Like, it's the fact that you let this person dealing with your content, managing your content, knowing he is like that. The person who knew him the best was you, Cinder. And you put him in charge. So what you're saying is your judgment sucks. And no one should trust it. Okay. All right. Well, you could have just started the document with my judgment sucks. Hi, my name's Cinder. And I make bad calls. And I'm really sorry for that. That's what this could have been. That's not what this document is. It's crazy. So she she says, I was only aware of it being about one person who I was unfairly pursuing. So yes, in your head, even if there's only one person and we are going to pretend like you definitely weren't gunning for Bao and Cotton as well, when if you're going to admit you were gunning for one person, why don't you just admit that you were actually stepping on everybody's toes intentionally? Like, you can't sit here and pussyfoot and be like, I was only envious of one person. Like, there was only one name that really had me concerned. Like, no, it was all of them. It's clearly all of them. Like, Jesus, dude. Oh, my Lord. When Nano had messaged me, she says, about this agreement almost a month later, I was under the assumption this was only about Silvervale. And what did Silvervale do to you? And, like Silvervale doesn't even come off to me like she's that similar to you. What, you both have big giant model boobs? Like, come on, she plays different games than you. Like, she's been on Twitch for so long. You know, she was in VShojo, bro. She was a freaking agency company VTuber. And you're comparing yourself to someone who literally had VShojo help them debut models and build her brand and stuff. Why are you do you not I don't get it. It's like you just showed up a few years ago and you're like, these are my peers. I'm gonna step on their toes. I'm gonna ruin their opportunities. A lot of the things I do wouldn't be successful. A lot of these people weren't here in the first place, you know, kind of setting the path, the ground way for a lot, you know, VTubers and everything. But step on their toes. Like, holy shit. I can't. I can't. She goes on to say, I was upset. My initial messages to her were very guilt trippy, but I wasn't going to force Nano to do anything she wasn't okay with. That's a lie. Tried reassuring her that I was okay with her decision. You guilt tripped her. You did not reassure. There's nothing. Cinder, what the hell? What? You think those messages were reassuring? Because to me, they read like you were, if I was Nanoless, I read those messages like you were trying to make me feel even worse. Because, I don't know, it's just so confusing with things going back and forth, crying face. Like, you're just always trying to make yourself out to be a victim when Nanoless was just your freaking artist. Like, you're just supposed to pay someone for something that they do, and, like, that's supposed to be it. It's not supposed to be an emotional guilt trip or anything to do with it. I don't understand. Okay. Nano had also never come to me as seriously and professionally as her document was looking to address the issues she had with either of us. Cinder, someone should not need to come to you professionally to tell you to stop being a manipulative bitch. That's insane. That's so far from accountability. Imagine you just can't. You couldn't say, going forward, I need to be better at recognizing when I am pushing people into an uncomfortable position as far as business relationships go. Instead of, Nano had never come to me to seriously and profession. Like, what? Why? Like, didn't you, like, you had her so backed into a corner she didn't feel comfortable. So it's your job to be a better person in the future and don't make people feel like this. What? Oh my gosh. I'm just so... Ugh. The issue at either of us terminating relationship. I had no idea there was even a conversation about Shy Lily recently between Red and Nano until reading her document. It's true I had confided in Red that lately I hadn't been hearing from Lily like I had. And see, that, again, right there. But the truth is in the pudding. It's right there. All she does behind the scenes is whine and cry to this guy, and he's some freaking dude who's not on the screen, actually being a content creator. Like, It's just letting a random Discord mod become your freaking VTube manager. Like, you don't do this. Like, that he's taking your insecurities and then he's going to project it through your business because he's sitting there listening to you cry about things that you're insecure about. And it's like, it's okay. I get it. Everyone's human. But it's just like, you gave him that fuel that he used to burn things. So you should be saying sorry. Like, that's not... What? Huh? Huh? Oh, okay. Hadn't been hearing from Millie like I had in the past. Was worried something was wrong. That's as far as it went. And he took it upon himself to try digging for more info. Yeah. You could have just hit up Shy Lily yourself. And if it continued, you know, she didn't message you back, like, don't overthink it. Not everybody wants to hang out with you. Not everybody has to be your friend. You know? Like, that's just how it is. That's life. Like, it just makes me think, like, you're just so privileged that you just, like, walk through life. Like, everybody was so nice and friendly to you 24/7. Have you never had a real job? Have you never had someone treat you rudely just because you were doing your job? Have you never had a friend be upset with you because you were being a good friend? Like, these are things that happen. So, like, I don't understand. This just sounds like somebody who did not learn anything throughout, like, school with, like, friendships and getting to know people, because I feel like this is something they taught us in preschool. Whatever, dude. I was never even aware Nano was ever planning to work on a model for another one of my friends, Yuri. I don't condone anything about what Red said about Bao in these DMs either, and him using we and our in this context is abhorrently incorrect, and I believe was done to gain greater credibility behind what he was saying. Yes, Red and I were initially upset. Why? Why, Cinder? Yeah, and I took it personally when I shouldn't have. That's what she said. So she knows she's wrong. She knows she's wrong for being upset at her friend, and I still don't see an apology. I still don't see sorries here. I still don't see anything to attempt to salvage Bao's feelings. Do you even care that a real human being saw you as a friend and thought that because you were friends, they could do things that would, if you were competition, would be considered mean or something, like stealing? But because you're friends, you know, I just don't believe Bao has that sort of toxic negative bone in her body. She's such a talented individual who has done so many different things with her content. She does not need to zero in on someone's editor thinking to herself, I need this editor because he's going to give me something I don't have that someone else has, and I need this in order to succeed. God forgive me if I am wrong, but I just don't. She just doesn't come across as somebody like that. And it's like, how do you were her best friend and you perceived her you took it personally, or hiring your editor like she was stealing clothing off your back or something? Homegirly needs medication or something. Like, I don't know. Red must not give good dickens. I'm gonna tell y'all that, because she was upset about way too many things if she was... she goes on to say, I felt as if maybe my content wasn't good enough, and I took it personally when I shouldn't have. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. But I accepted it and was happy for him for getting that bag, supporting one of my friends at the same time. And yes, I was also upset when Sack, the Boss Rush MV editor, had told us that he won't be working on any future projects with us and would instead be working exclusively for Bao. Like, to be honest, if Bao was the one working with him in the first place and, like, he just went out of his way to work with you, but, like, Bao and him had been working together for, like, years and years, I just don't see why, like, you wouldn't, like, maybe, like, he had his own preferences about why he didn't want to be known as publicly an animator anymore, but still do, or, not, I'm sorry, editing, whatever, and, like, the whole world revolves around her and the 2 brain cells in her head and her boyfriend standing in front of her. That is what the universe looks like for Sinder. And when other things float into her gravitational pull, she thinks it's kamikaze nukes coming down on her planet. She doesn't perceive it as anything else. Because that's all she sees is the fucking universe revolving around her and the dude standing in front of her. Like, oh my gosh. Oh my lord. My lord. But Red got it in his head that it was Bao's fault that it happened. And Red started with these assumptions because of your own insecure feelings that you were projecting outward, Cinder. But okay, anyways. Seemingly held a grudge against her for it. He was very passionate about Boss Rush, the potential future projects around it, but he told me without an MV editor as talented as Sack, the future projects wouldn't reach the same heights. So he created this headcanon that's laid out in those DMs. And you let him run with it. You knew he was creating this headcanon, and instead of checking him and being like, bro, she's my bestie, okay? You need to stop being weird about homegirl. But no, you just don't care about other people to stop someone in their tracks when they're literally in the middle of slandering someone's name that you should care about. Who's working for you? I cannot believe this document is this bad. Like, she had 24 hours and she needed many more hours, and this is just so... Wow, dude. This just makes everything worse. Like, I just don't know where in her head that she thought this was... any of these words are making anything better. Like, I had some, like, small increments of doubt for, or, you know, like, benefits of doubt for her. It's gone now. It's just completely and utterly gone. She just dropped the ball every chance that she got. She just dropped it. And the person who got their feelings hurt the worst is Nanoless and Bao. You know, like, Silvervale. It like... crazy. Okay. Yep, it's your fault for never speaking up with Bao about these things directly to clear things up. No, you didn't need to speak with Bao. You needed to speak with Red. But okay, anyways, letting it spiral to the point that it got to. Every comment here about her own music, guilt-tripping, and claims about our shared feelings towards her are disgusting. I honestly don't know why he thought this way about my close friend beyond the resentment. He thought that way because you guys probably had conversations about that, about her like that privately together. That's why. Given you want me to give you the benefit of the doubt, Cinder, right now, and not assume that the reason why he was like that is he was just less good at pretending and his mask was falling off his face and yours just stays really tightly on. And the conversations happen exactly like that about her. Between the two of you. But sure, Cinder, sure. Even though you've literally not even really said sorry at this point, we're supposed to give you the benefit of the doubt this far into this document. Okay. The It's Just Business screenshot of my DMs with Nano's document was from November of 23. I'll go into my thought process of everything I said here. Again, you're just explaining your thought process and there's not a single line of accountability and sorry, I feel. It is just, guys, listen, this is what I thought. This is how I was feeling. This is why I did it. Girl. It's like she just sat around all night typing up reasons why she did this. What Red was trying to explain to Nano is that if everyone has a model by her, the innate value of her models overall are diminished by there being an oversaturation of that type of model out there, which is wrong. Which is wrong. There's so many, the vtubing, like Sinder, the fact that you're allowing someone to work with you, even if you don't think about that yourself, even if you don't agree with that yourself, which you probably do, Sinder. That's why you're typing this out and explaining it. But if for some freaking reason you have enough brain cells to realize that that's not true, you could just find an artist and from the gate let them know, like, be like, I really like your art and I was wondering if I get a model through you, can we exclusively only do models together and you will never make VTube models for anyone else? But no, you are using Nano, who has made VTube models for other people, who likes doing that, who never ever considered only being an exclusive artist for anyone. And you tried backing them into that corner. You tried manipulating for your own benefit. And now you're going to try to explain why that thought process had any sort of rational motive. You're insane. You're actually out of your ever-loving mind. I really hope she says, okay, I'm going to continue reading here. The value of having her model wouldn't be the same as there are only a handful of them, which he viewed as a negative for me. I understand where he's coming from with this, but in the VTuber space, this isn't something we should have pursued. No, Sinder, this isn't something we should have said. That's the word that you, not pursued. It isn't something you should have even said. And if you genuinely felt that way, you don't tell that to an artist. You go and find someone to exclusively work with, and between the two of you come to the understanding that, like, hey, you're my model artist and I don't want you working with anyone else. Here's a disgusting amount of money for you to only be my model artist, and we're agreeing upon this, and we're not backing someone into this. Whether or not you wish to feel that way and pursue it or not, it's the fact that you said it. It's the fact that you put it in this document. It's the fact that you literally walk around thinking that that is the world that we live in, and it's like, not, dude. That's like, oh my god. Like, Chinese people on TikTok just showed everyone how all of these rich luxury brands are literally just slapping on their name, and all of the bags, everything's the same. Like, all the clothes, like, there's so many things, like, the materials are not that much different, you know? So it's just a brand. So you're, like, why is it that they can make thousands and thousands and thousands of luxury bags that all look the same, but the thing that changes them is the name? But in her and Red's mind, the thing that makes something negative value is how much of it there is out there. There's so many things in the world where there's so many of them and they still have a really high value, and there's multiple duplicates of them. Like, what? I can't. Continuing on. Nano has an amazing skill where she's able to draw each of her VTuber children uniquely, so is never upset seeing new model siblings. Okay, Sinder. Sure. In many cases, I was there cheering them on at their debuts, looking to collab with them as sisters when I could. But we just... Yes. So... Let me shut up. She continues on to say, me saying it's just business was referring to my acceptance of Nano's business decisions, whether she chose to work with me or not. This was not in reference to anyone's model being canceled. Okay. Further explaining to her that it's okay if she chooses not to work with me. I can understand where the next part can sound manipulative. My intention was to reminisce about the journey we had together up to this point, since at this time I wasn't sure if there is where Nano and I would stop working together as frequently as we had been. Yeah, because you made her so uncomfortable. That was happening. See, that was happening. You weren't about to start working together as frequently because like you just like pushed her to a point of uncomfort. And the things that you were asking were never something that Nano was even offering, you know? And it's just like pushing someone's boundaries until they're doing things that you want them to do, but they never really saw doing themselves. Like having her basically cutting off other VTubers just to work on your work. I just don't think an artist starts drawing art for VTubers and thinks about getting themselves to that point. I just, because it sounds like a nasty point to be in, right? Like it doesn't, if you genuinely want to work exclusively with someone, you want that person to pay you the money that you're worth to be their exclusive artist. And if not, if they are using you exclusively and you're not allowed to make art for anyone else, but you're not being paid as much as you should be, you're basically like a slave. Like you're being taken advantage of. So what is it that you wanted from Nano, Sinder? Because it just sounds like you wanted Nano to break themselves down to the point that instead of them being uncomfortable and having to bring up issues, you've literally said in this document that Nano should have brought it up to you that they were uncomfortable. They did. It did seem like they were trying to bring to your attention the way Red was acting and everything like that, and you brush it off. So I just don't understand. This literally just seems like not even throwing blame on Red. This seems like throwing blame on Nano. Like, oh my god. Oh my god. Have to look for a new model artist, then encourage her to work on projects she's excited about while I talk with Red to find a project that would work with her schedule. When talking about Silvervale, I need to start at the beginning. Before I was Sinder, I was a pink cherry blossom girl named Tashi that did ASMR content. When the VTuber boom happened in 2020, I knew I wanted to join in. Red and I contacted an artist in October, and they were set to start my VTuber design by December. The plan was to take my cherry blossom persona Tashi and make her a pink and white wolf girl VTuber. Sorry, that sounds like a really convenient story. Okay, whatever. Yep. November of that same year. Silvervale revealed her Secure Wolf redesign. I had heard of Silvervale earlier that year. I didn't watch her streams at all. We knew we had to pivot before we were stuck with a design that would just be a copy of one of the most popular VTubers at the time. The fact that, like, you never just wanted to be a VTuber for fun, and it's always been a farm, is really what just... you know, it's fine. It's just business, Cinder. You know, it's just business. Some of us, we turn on our Twitch streams and YouTube channels one day, and we just want to farm. And others of us, we're just happy to be here. But, you know, it's just business. Oh, man. Honestly, all this work and effort, Cinder, you could have just graduated and spent money on a whole new design and just kept being the kind of person you are, because it's not like you're taking accountability. Like, I just don't understand here, but okay, let's continue. I've explained many times on my stream, I knew I wanted to be a wolf girl, so I mixed my love of Okami and metal music into design and came out with a hellhound. My name was originally going to be Ember, but Red came up with the name Sinder since it was a mix of sin and cinder, both hell and fire themed. It was only coincidence that it ended up being similar to Silver. Well, I don't think your names are... Yeah, okay, whatever. I was genuinely interested in pursuing a friendship with her and drew fan art myself of us together. But she was a company VTuber, and you were coming out of the woodworks as a random person who is not in a company or anything, and you were like, hey, Silvervale, I'm your peer! You're not. You were a random fucking person, and she did not owe you any attention. That, like, oh my god, I'm literally smacking my microphone. Just, like, so, like, I cannot. Like, this is appalling to me, dude. On the other hand, Red was in my ear the whole time saying how great working together would be, since again, he's been the business-oriented side of my brand. I don't know. It sounds like that's the way your head works too, but okay. She goes on to say, since I started streaming, I've been ruthlessly compared to Silvervale, being called the discount version of her. Cinder, I'm gonna be honest. I thought you were the discount version of Shy Lily, but okay, sure. Like, see, like I'm gonna be honest. I think I've been a VTuber for 4 years. I've never ever seen anyone. I've stood in line at VTuber meet and greets for hours, listening to the middle-aged men who look like they don't shower. No offense, boys, just saying. And I've listened to their conversations. I'm sorry, but Shy Lily and Cinder, like, almost never come up together. Or, not Shy, Silvervale. Sorry. Silvervale. See, what does come up together is Shy Lily and Cinder. That was my point. That's why I tripped over that word. Shy Lily and Cinder come up together a lot. The guys, the people you meet in person at conventions, they like Shy Lily, they like Cinder. Silvervale, like, is it just, I don't know, it's just a bit, like, she's just a little cozier. I understand she's got her boobs on the screen and everything like that, but I just never felt like Silvervale was trying to sell, like, the sort of same GFE, you know, that, like, Shy Lily and Cinder do. And I think a lot of other people perceive it that way. So I don't know where she's getting. Since I started streaming, I've been ruthlessly compared to Silvervale. Who? I want to know who was doing this. Because you're messed up for that if you truly were. You were comparing her to the wrong people. Like, there's people I could compare her to. I just don't. Comparing an indie VTuber, especially to a company VTuber, like, I guess that must have ruined her own mental, you know, because, like, Cinder, why would you let that get to you were an independent person with your freaking boyfriend creating a VTube character, and Silvervale was brought into VShojo and had a whole production around her for years. Like, okay, you know, whatever. This is like a random TikTok singer comparing themselves to Taylor Swift and just being like, okay, well, because Taylor Swift does this, and that, and I'm kind of like this, and that, I need to meet Taylor Swift expectations. No, you don't. It's okay to be similar, and hell, people might even compare you. But when you sit there and come back to reality and recognize the fact that somebody has many other different opportunities than you, they've been doing it longer, you know, like, why are you comparing yourself? Why are you allowing the comparison of yourself even across you should, if anything, as an independent VTuber, I'd be honored. I'm gonna stop ranting here. If I was a small little VTuber just making it out by myself, making a character design by myself, I didn't have no agency and everything like that, and people are comparing me to Silvervale, I'd be like, damn, y'all, I'm that good? Damn, okay. Like, you know, like, be grateful. Ugh. I was accused of copying her design, copying her personality. Dude, Cinder, what? Who told you were copying her design and personality? And even copying her laugh of all things? I want to see proof of people like, and were these random Twitter accounts that you should have not paid any attention to? Were these random YouTube comments? Or did you ever ask any of your friends, friends, Cinder? I know you don't know what those are because you saw everyone as stepping stools. You must have glasses on that change every single human being you see into a stepping stool. But so you had friends around you, right? You had a whole group of girls who you could have asked them, like, y'all, Some people come to my Twitch chat and they tell me that I'm like copying Silvervale. Do y'all feel like I copy Silvervale? And the way friendship works, Cinder, is your friends would have been like, no, Cinder, stop it. Don't let that stuff get into your head. You know, like people are just saying things because they compare success to success. Like that's just the way it is. We're big names in this industry, and that's the inevitable. We're gonna be compared to each other. But guess what? Guess what Cinder did? She cried about it to her boyfriend, who took it, lit it on fire, and ran around with it. And instead of her taking accountability for that, we're just still trying to explain why. Like, what? Okay. She continues to say, there is a large number of people who are diehard believers in the fact I stole all of these attributes maliciously for my own gain, citing the art I posted of us together, calling her an inspiration when in reality this was referring to the decision to become a hellhound. It's like all the wrong people is who she let matter in her head. And anyone who should have actually, like the person's opinions that should have mattered in her brain, she just doesn't care about those people. I really hope she says that at some point. That would bring some sort of peace to my mind and my heart right now. Or maybe she's just so past the delusional rift of seeing the truth here. Like She continues to say, the only time Silvervale was mentioned, the original designing of my character, was when we explained why we were pivoting to something else, no references of her character involved. I grew more and more resentful of Silver over time, between the constant belittling of myself, controversy around my first waifu cup, other incidents, even though she herself never interacted with me directly. Yeah, because I bet you Silvervale could tell that you were probably feeling like your toes were being stepped on, but it's not her job to comfort you and make you feel better as a newcomer into the space and everything. Like, she has her own job and her own things that she's doing. So, you know, while she probably didn't want to go out of her way to step on anyone's toes, like, what is she supposed to do? You know? It really felt as if she didn't like that I even existed in the same space. Girl, she was just trying to give you your own space. Maybe, like, I'm starting to read this as, like, someone's mom who hates them. Like, did your mother make you fight each other a lot growing up? Did your mother make you, fight for your father's affection or something, sweetheart? Because, like, this is insane. Like, this is so many levels of like mentally trying to find issues that it's like it's gotta be like from her childhood or something. Like this is deep. It's so deep. It's so ingrained in her brain. At the point I was working with Nano consistently brought up not making any more models for her. If a VTuber model is how everyone recognizes you, then it'd be harder to compare us directly if we no longer look alike or have that. No, it didn't start. Here's the issue, Cinder. The similarities didn't start with the Nano model. You said it yourself at the top of this paragraph that the similarities between you and Silver started with your original design. You wanted to be a freaking Sakura Wolf Fox girl. You and Silver have just been coincidentally similar. Okay, you both make the same kind of content. You're both VTubers. And you think that the line in the sand should have been Nano? What? That's not Nano's job. You literally pinned your own problems, the thing you could not do it yourself. You tried making someone else do. That's crazy. She goes on to say it was a wrong and selfish decision, but it made me feel better. And that's why it was a constant topic with Nano. Oh my god. Red pushed for this harder than I ever did because he knew how it affected me for years. You need therapy, so Cinder. You need severe. For years, like, you have so much success under your belt as a content creator, and this keeps you up at night. Bro. That's just sad. Like, that just makes me pity, because that's just, you can be the biggest bitch in the world, but that's also just sad, girly. That's just sad. But yeah, truly, nothing will ever be enough for you, will it? Ugh. No matter what the outcome was, I wasn't going to walk away from working with Nano. Silver was completely undeserving of this treatment, and it was my own insecurities that led me to making this choice. Well, there's a little bit of accountability here, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting to it. I became unapologetically evil towards her due to no direct action of her own. There's no excuse for any of this. Okay, wow. We're taking a little bit of accountability. Like, all of those words and lines and letters, and we get 2 sentences of accountability. Okay. Moving on from Silvervale, let me talk about spite. Oh! I had to sit up in my chair for that one. Once again, no involvement or knowledge. Oh, let me take a drink here. This is okay. Knowledge of Red bringing up spite to Nano in 2023. Only personal involvement with excluding someone specific from working with Nano was Silver. Which, if you knew he would be going out of his way to try to exclude someone specific, you really should have been keeping tabs on this crazy man. But you weren't. Anyways. She goes, my design sheet and outfit were finished, made public at the very start of 21. The first thing she mentions is a debut teaser in 22 that was apparently posted on the same day as her original debut, which I honestly don't know if at the time this was intentional or not. I don't know when I first discovered spite, and it could have been after she debuted. When I first debuted, I was very possessive of my design details. Yeah, that was the thing that was one of the first things that I was like, that's weird. You're just a hell, like Sinder has always tried to project like her design is some God's gift to the earth, that it was like different and iconic, like someone could, it's not like it looks insanely different. You're just a girl with some horns and ears. Like, what? It's not like Pipkin Pippa. That's a design. That's different, you know? That's a design that's not meant for dudes to just wank off to. I'm sure some do, but okay? I'm sorry, but I just don't think any of us, I'm gonna include myself, any of us VTuber designs that got like a big chest and stuff like that, like, it's just like not the most grand thing. Like, oh my gosh, like, we're all just anime girls. Okay. She says, I had made it a year and a half since my design sheet was finished in public to having a full VTuber debut, as I watched everything grow and change from the sidelines, and I didn't want anyone else to capitalize on my concept before I could. Do better. That's literally the name of the game. Just do better. Like, I get having those feelings, but like, instead of being nasty over it, just do better, you know? Like, put the work in. Soon after my original debut, I remember Spite getting an update to her model that made it seem like she more closely resembled me, including fire added to her model. Dude, whatever. Without evidence, I saw it and thought she must have copied me, but I never did anything about it other than voice my frustrations to Red. I didn't want to start drama with anyone. I didn't have ownership over fire as a design detail. Yeah, you don't. The references for the ripped shirt and shorts outfit on my bikini model were given to Nano in June of 22 with the purpose of having cover-up outfit that would be safe for Twitch. The merch art referring to design around my concept of my fire changing blue. The fact that the rest of the art was grayscale was the artist's choice, since it was going onto the back of a hoodie and I didn't have a say, or at least I didn't counter that being the final decision. There was no intention to deliberately look like Spite with this piece. Unfortunately, both my Angel and Sleepy outfits being similar to outfits Spite has done in the past was just a coincidence. I had always planned to one day make an Angel counterpart to my Demon outfit. I will give Sinder that. I remember sitting in one of her streams a long time ago after Bao raided her, and I remember her talking things about like the demon stuff and then like wanting to have an angel form. Um and I always wondered if like that was the reason why Bao, like, you know, I'm sure all of these girls talked about these sort of things together. And so when Bao came out with the model that she had been using, where it's like it goes blue and it's like all like cute and light colored, and then it goes like pink and black, and then it's like dark colored with the like blood on the face and stuff, like I just thought they were all like doing that. Like, yeah, that's a totally normal thing, right? I get it. I'll give you that, Cinder. Um shit, where was I lost my um the fact grayscale for an angel. Yep, okay. One I made in 23. My original ref sheet laid the groundwork for that idea. I've never liked theming anything around my brand in a religious light, so I chose to make my angel form more Greek Valkyrie than biblical, which also gives it a similar look to my demon form. The sleepy outfit was a last-minute decision to pivot from a fully new 3.0 model because I had the opportunity to work with gamer subs on an AFK flavor. Spite never should have received the hate comments over her outfit. That's insane. Any comments comparing us or belittling her because of my existence, and I never advocated for anyone else to do so, especially given my experience. Spy has also brought up another creator who reached out to her about the experience with me. I can only assume it's Nyan Tales. They're an ASM artist who at one point posted a Hellhound OC for one of their upcoming ASMR videos, undoubtedly creating using me as a reference. Yeah, because the whole world revolves around you, Cinder. Right after my debut, and like I said, I was very protective of my design elements. Like, what if it was right after your debut? Not everyone knew about you. You were not as famous as you are. So, like, yes, granted, this could be true, but also, like, it seems like another symptom of you thinking the universe revolves around you, Cinder. But okay. She goes on to say, like I said, I was very protective of my design elements being unique to me, and I overreacted. Shortly after I apologized, they agreed to adjust the character design, and I thought the matter was settled. Oh, so you pushed to get your way, and then it was okay. Wow, Cinder. She goes on to say, at the very start of my online career, I was a GFE ASM artist. You know, y'all, I need to make some money. Is this what I gotta do? Is this sucks. Can I do like negative GFE, like if you have like a horrible girlfriend who just whines a lot, you know, could I do that? Can we get like the worst, like the negative girlfriend experience? Anyways. Before I started my channel, I got into listening to roleplay audios myself. Always been a shut-in throughout high school and college. I wasn't happy where my life and relationship were at the time. After uploading my first few audios, my channel started growing fast. This was the first time I was inundated with so many people wanting to know me and talk to me, and I got lost in the excitement of it all, not fully coming to terms with these messages being because of the kind of content I was making. I was immature and inexperienced with how to conduct myself online. Never had many IRL friends and had met Rain doing ASMR. Quickly became comfortable chatting with him about everything, divulging my grievances about my personal life when I shouldn't have. I cheated on my boyfriend with Rain in these conversations. Flirting and sexting. I used Rain for emotional comfort and sexual fantasy while I let my real life relationship collapse. It was about my dissatisfaction with my personal life and escaping into messages with someone else who I found through content focused around GF and BF RP. It was never about climbing the ladder with Rain. I find that being his takeaway from why I moved on baffling. By the time I was ready to debut as Sinner, I wanted to leave that in the past. Still this day, I regret my decisions and have been living with it since, and I was lucky to be able to mend my relationship. Y'all deserve each other. You and Red deserve each other, sweetheart. You know, there was a point. There was a point in this where I was willing to chalk this up to maybe Red has been manipulating you for years. Like this is you're also a victim. The issue that I have with this is someone who has been in relationships with people who, you know, they made me be awful to like my friends, or do awful things, or I was acting awful because I was upset with the relationship. I got myself out of those relationships. I did not stay in them for any longer than, she's been in this for what, 4 years now or something? I think my longest bad relationship was 2 years. I get, after 1 year with a person, like, you don't really know them yet. One relationship I had, I didn't know there was like a bunch of things that were red flags to me, and I didn't figure them out until 8 months into a relationship, and then I broke it off, right? And there's other things that you don't really learn about a person until you're about 2 years in, you're living together. So, that 2 year mark is really important. Once you start moving to 3 and 4 years, you should know your partner, and or they have been like going above and beyond to keep things from you and manipulating you the entire time. It's just, that's a lot of work for 4 years straight. Most people, their disguise falls at around 2 years, and the better person in the relationship can figure that out and end the relationship to preserve themselves as a good, morally right person. But Cinder, I don't, girl, you need to break up with him now. Like, girl to girl. If you want any way out of this, you were never happy with this man in the first place. So if you cheated on him with some random person on the internet that you never met, whatever, imagine you could have saved yourself by being a bit of a piece of shit, but you could have saved yourself all of this if, instead of mending your relationship with this dude who is now basically burned your career to the ground, you could have just not had him. Because I feel like Cinder, a lot of the stuff you do yourself as a content creator, that's you, girly. I don't know if maybe she has it in her mind that, like, oh, the only reason I have any of this success is Red. No, girlfriend, that was you. You made your ASMR channel. You are Cinder. You're the girl that a lot of these guys on the internet have fallen in love with. They don't like your boyfriend. They don't care. So, I don't know if anyone wants to tell her that. But yeah, that I'll be the person to say it. I just, like, girl to girl, wanting to give her a benefit of the doubt, but it's just, you threw it away when you've just made everyone aware that years ago, before you ever blew up as a content creator, really, you weren't happy in this relationship, whatever reasons they could have been. Red could have done this to you purposely. He could have purposely made you out to be like such a bad, evil person because you cheated on him. Like, you ever think about that? Like, this could be him getting his lick back? Like, it just seems like y'all are not good for each other. Whatever. This is the problem with being in a relationship and keeping it private, but then some of the facts about it come to light. Now we're just left with more questions. All right, we're getting to the end here. Lastly, I want to address Peaches. Very big problem I have. I'm sure many others in my position do too. At the end of the day, I'm one person. I'm one person working on multiple projects with multiple companies, talking to dozens of people and streaming for hours almost every day. I've never had a big social battery. I get tired very easily when interacting with people. Haven't had much energy at all over the past year, leading me to making frequent naps. Rarely been able to keep up with my closest handful of friends on a frequent basis, let alone everyone else. Red has always been a big help in keeping up with things, but he doesn't do everything. I'm sorry I made you feel forgotten, Peaches. I've always cherished your friendship. I was so incredibly excited to meet you in Paris. I'm so grateful for everything you've done for me. Never thought to purposely drop you just because I could. I'm sorry. I know I've made a lot of people feel forgotten or ignored. It's so easy to get caught up in projects or what I'm doing, while I have the energy to do it, that people fall by the wayside. Bitch. I understand the feelings of those who resent me over this, and all I can say is sorry. I just want to say that she sat there and spent all that time with girls who weren't like her longtime friends or whatever, but she became friends with them because, you know, she saw them as stepping stools. Bao, Tricky, Vienna, Numi, Yuzu. She sat there and spent all that time with them while seemingly actively ignoring people who really wanted her attention. Meanwhile, she was giving her attention to people she was in the middle of backstabbing. Like little does Miss Peaches know, or anybody who wanted Cinder's attention, it's okay. You don't want that friendship because the only people she seems to keep close to her are people she was literally in the middle of crying about to her boyfriend, made her feel insecure, and then figuring out how to mess up their career opportunities so she could have better ones than them. Surrounding herself with people who make her feel worse about herself, but not because of the way they are to her, just their own success and how she can't handle it. And then not allowing herself to hang out with people who genuinely probably like her as a person. There's no weird, you know, things about, oh, well, I'm only hanging out with you because we're peers, like, you know, because it's cool. Because a lot of times those girls, the bigger VTuber girls, imagine you get thousands of viewers on a daily basis and everything like that. You just can't go and hang out with anybody, right? Like, if you are a popular content creator, it's just not the same. You don't go and hang out with someone who has like 10 average viewers all the time, and you have a fucking 1,000 average viewers all the time. It's just like weird, okay? And it's not like to say you couldn't help them or something like that, but it's just not something you go out of your way to do, right? So it's just like normal that like when the girls who have really decent amounts of viewership, they're gonna hang out with each other. That's just like kind of what you'll do. You just hang out with your peers so that you guys can connect. You can talk about similar experiences that you have as people who have them sort of big audiences. It would make someone who has a very small audience feel really small when hanging out with you. But you know, there might be some people who don't give a damn about that stuff. They don't give a damn about your numbers. Y'all were friends before the bullshit. And it doesn't even seem like she ever wanted to go out of her way to hang out with those people because those people were underneath her. She's too busy hanging out with people that she can figure out she can squeeze something out of them. That's just all that it seems like. Oh my god, we're finally getting an apology all the way at the end. Girlfriend, you should have copied and pasted this at the top. I don't deserve to be able to contact everyone involved directly to personally apologize, so I'll do it here in the chance they read it. This is how the document should have started, Cinder. Oh my gosh. I had to wait an hour. I know I was yapping a lot in between this, but I had to wait an hour to get here. Oh my god. To Nano, I'm so sorry I let things get to this point or even be entertained the thought of you working exclusively with me. That's not fair to you. I wouldn't be here without you, and I wouldn't have been able to do most of what I've already done without you. I felt overly attached to our relationship over the past 4 years and loved your work so much that I wanted to make myself exclusive to your art. Well, at least this wording is correct. Should have never sought those feelings to be reciprocated. Everything you've ever worked on for me was always so perfect, and I lost sight of how everyone else around me would have felt. I had no intentions of pressuring you into anything, but looking back on my clouded judgment, I can see how my messages felt that way. When I talked about how my models helped you improve, I meant that as looking back on how far we've come to get... You needed to take that line out. No. You should have said, Cinder, this is when I talked about how my models helped you improve, I was being a miserable, gaslighting, manipulative person. That's what you did. I was trying to tell you that things that I did for you are the only reason why you're the sort of artist you are today, and I should have not said that. That's what that line should have been. Anyways, continuing on what she said here in her apology. We've been friends for so long and cheered each other on when we both started growing and getting more opportunities like plushies, figures, etc. You've been my exclusive artist for full life to do models for the majority of my time as a VTuber, and of course I would have been sad if you didn't want to continue that relationship. But in all our other private DMs, I was okay with you ultimately doing what was best for yourself. I saw you as someone I trusted and loved and wanted to make sure you were still taking care of yourself with all the projects you took on, mine or otherwise. I never saw you as just a business partner. You really treated her that way. But okay. I thought I was reassuring you that I'd always be understanding if you wanted to move on to other projects. No, that didn't seem clear to me. But okay. Genuinely appreciated our friendship. I always saw you as a close friend. I'm sorry for what I put you through. Oh. This is too... Okay. For everything that she has done to Bao, this is too short. No way, dude. There's no way you made me read through like at least half an hour. I know I've been yapping a lot, but there's no way you made me read through that much. And the apology to my Oshi is... I'm gonna try so hard not to punch my computer screen right now. Since the start, I've always admired you and how genuine you've always been to everyone. Yeah, Cinder, it's just something you can't seem to do. I wouldn't be here without you either. Wow, okay. She's saying she's spitting some facts. She's cooking a bit. I'm disgusted with myself for buying in the narrative that my friends were competition. I never had such genuine friendships in my life. Yeah, we can all tell. Especially with you. We've gotten to know each other so well online and in person. You've already been through so much, and the last thing I want to do is cause more harm. But I did. I'm sorry for not reaching out sooner about these ideas that were put into my head. I wish we would have been able to talk about this, too. I didn't know about the severity of things that have been said and theorized about my own friends behind my back until now. I just don't believe it. It's my fault for not realizing the things Red was saying about you. The countless friendships I've made here within the last several years mean so much more to me than him and the business side of things and his way of thinking. So why are you breaking up? You should just publicly let everyone know you're breaking up with him. No amount of popularity or money means more to me than the relationships I've built in this community. I don't believe in it. And why do you have to put that into your apology to Bao? This apology should be about her. And this apology to Bao's becoming about you. There's no way. There's no way. I've always been myself, whether that be on stream or in person. I hope the friends I've made can understand I never condone this behavior. Or any of the things that were said about my friends. I've always wanted everyone around me to thrive and find happiness. I can't stress enough how disappointed I am that I didn't see this sooner until it got to a breaking point. I'm sorry, Bao. Bro, Cinder, that sounded like it was written by ChatGPT. The rest of your doc sounded really coherent, and you know, maybe I'm biased. You hurt this girl so severely bad. And like if I were Bao, I would just ask you where we can meet up and square up. Like, if I were her, you know, I'm just saying, like, I'd be like, bad baby, you know, like, cash me outside. Like, honestly, that's the only way I'd be able to get my lick back, personally. Like, I was raised in Central Florida, you know, I'm just, like, girl, whatever. I hope Bao doesn't accept that, honestly. Like, I think it's not enough in any way, shape, or form. Sorry. To Sack, I love getting to chat with you in person and absolutely loved all the hard work you put into the Boss Rush song. So grateful to hear you're on board to edit the MV. I don't remember exactly why the stream got pushed back, but I definitely wouldn't have put the blame on you knowing about how soon the deadline was when you started working on it. So thankful for your willingness to complete the project despite everything, and the quality of how it turned out was incredible. I can't believe how Red talked about you, especially after all the effort you put in for me. I'm so sorry for everything that's happened. More like, I can't believe Red told you this shit I said. That's what that one reads as. Okay. To Cotton and Lily. So sorry you to get dragged into this. It's my fault I let it get this far. I hope you can believe me when I say I had no knowledge of Red bringing you up in Nano's DMs. I just learned about all this myself. There could have been so many other friends affected by the narrative that things always had to be competitive. If I knew Red was trying to exclude specific friends in this exclusivity, I would have spoken up. None of my friendships are worth sacrificing over an art piece. I love being your friend, all the memories we shared. I hope someday you can forgive for allowing this to happen. Forgive for allowing this to happen. Cotton and Lily, girl. Don't. Silver. Since the start, I love that I saw someone else sharing so many similar interests to me, and I thought maybe someday we could talk about it all and be good friends. You know, let me stop. I feel that way too, you know, about a lot of the VTubers I look up to. But once I would get to, you know, being big enough that I could, you know, probably talk to them and maybe they would just give me the cold shoulder, I wouldn't sit there and assume I needed to beat them in competition because I looked up to them. I don't understand, Cinder. Like, what? See, this is... I just really do want to know, like, does Homegirl have some severe issues with her mom? Because the only thing that this speaks to me is that your mother made you compete for your father's love and attention growing up, that this is so deep rooted, harbored in you. You're not supposed to match your mother in order to receive love from your father. You're not supposed to match another woman in order to be able to succeed the same way that they do, or to get as much love and attention or anything. That's not how it works. When you look up to someone, once you get close, that you don't have to look upwards at them, you're looking more like directly at them because you're peers now. It doesn't become a competition, and you thinking that is some weird deep stuff in your head that you need therapy for. She really, like, I'm actually a little bit concerned for her. If anyone who genuinely likes Cinder after this and wants to tell her anything, tell her she needs fucking therapy. She really does. That's how you solve this, because something in her mind, looking up to people, and once you get any sort of close, being nasty to them, that's not how it works out. Like, because she did it to everyone. She did it to every single person around her. She was insecure. Everyone. So, like, she has something she needs to work out with herself. She should see a therapist about it. Anyways. I was blinded by all these hate comments around me calling me your lesser half. I hate the person I've become towards you. I tried reaching out some time ago to start a friendly conversation to change things and make things right, say hi to you at conventions and support your endeavors. But despite all that, I was still being eaten alive by my own doubts and fear or harassment. Yeah, girlfriend, you really need to see a therapist and maybe some medication. How about just smoke some fucking weed? Honestly. Pressured by the community as a whole to try reaching out to collaborate since I got these messages so often comparing us. Ooh, girl, I hope I never, you know, I'll give you some leeway on that. I hope whenever I blow up, I don't get a bunch of people, and you should collab with this person. No, people should want to collab with me. If they don't want to collab with me, or if they don't want to invite me onto their stream, why do I gotta push my way around and in people's spaces? Let yourself be invited. Don't try pushing yourself around. You know, if people really want you around, they'll ask you to be around. Like, the photo of me at the meet and greet was taken candidly, and I thought it looked so cute, and I posted it without asking you, which was wrong of me. I was so wrong for letting everyone get in my head about all these malicious feelings. I'm so sorry for any opportunities I've taken away from you. I'm sorry, Silver. Okay. Whatever. To spite. Sorry I'd assumed things about your design that weren't true. I'm sorry you've been harassed by commenters needing to compare us. Yeah, because, you know, Spite's probably going through a lot of the same things that you are, and she has 1/4 of the amount of support. You think about that? And I apologize for the way Red spoke about you to Nano. You didn't deserve any of this, Spite. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I feel like that should have been a bit longer, but whatever. To Peaches, I'm sorry if I made it seem like I was ignoring or ghosting you. I'm so happy we had the opportunity to meet in person. I was apologetic with how busy things were for me at the time. I wanted to spend more time with you. As I got more and more DMs and messages, everything became so overwhelming. I've always had a low social battery. That made it so hard for me to keep up to date with all my friends. Never had any ill feelings towards you, and I still don't. More like, honestly, though, that was just I'm so busy trying to squeeze people for what they're worth, and there was nothing that you had for me to squeeze, so I just didn't have a time to make for you. Nope. That's how that one reads, but okay, whatever. Terrain, you're the first person I met as an ASM artist during a time when I was immature and vulnerable. Okay. I ended up being consumed by the content I was making. It led me to making awful decisions I still think about and regret. I was not in a good spot at the time. I've hated myself for this kind of behavior, and it took a long time for me to move on from what happened. I have no excuses. I'm sorry you're dragged into my drama. I'm sorry how I made you feel after. I just wanted to close the book on things. You want to close the burn book on a lot of things, Cinder. Let me tell you. I'm sorry to my pyropups and my mods for expecting me to lead by a better example than this. Sorry to the VTuber community for looking towards me as someone to aspire to. Sorry to Kaiser, who put his heart and soul into everything he's ever done for me and not even talking to you about how I felt. Sorry to the dozens of artists that have put their hard work into me. I'm sorry to the rest of my friends who have let down. I've led a bad example, and I don't expect forgiveness. I've made many mistakes over my 5 years on the internet. I'm only one person living the one life I get for the first and only time like everyone else. As I said at the start, I ended up developing an extremely unhealthy work-life balance, and the harm Red has caused with the way he viewed things is irreparable. So you should say, from here on out, I'm going to be excluding Red from my entire life, and I'm breaking up with him. But okay, sure. You're not going to add that in here. Okay. The way I've been perceiving things lately is not how I want to view the world moving forward, and this goes to show there's a lot I need to address and improve if I'm to continue being a creator. I'm devastated that the friendship so special to me may understandably never be mended again. I love my job and I love all the friends I've had. Thank you for reading. Cinder. Yeah, I gave my reactions of this throughout, so I don't have much else. Again, the apology part should have been at the top. No one cares about why you are a horrible person to anyone ever. If you ever do horrible things like to your friends, start with the apology. Like, I don't understand. Just typing all of this out. Like, it should have, no, you should have, I would really like to apologize and then explain where I'm coming from. Not, I need to explain myself before I apologize to you so you can further feel some kind of way about what my mental state is like and the life I've been through as a person before reading my apology and deciding whether or not you like my apology. That is a gaslighting manipulative tactic right there. That is a tactic just in the way this document is which way it goes. It should have not gone this way. You shouldn't, if you want to read this document and at least give Cinder like some sort of leg to stand on, read it from the bottom. Just read the pages this way. You know, read downwards, then read the next page. You know, if you read it like that, she kind of seems like a slightly better person, but yeah. Homegirly needs a lot of therapy. There is something very deeply wrong, I think, that happened in her childhood, okay? That her brain works like this, that she got to the position that she got to, and did this to these people, and then even with her apology continues to show her colors that are black and gray. You know, like, it's just so dull, just depressing, just like, girly, I don't know how to hold an umbrella over you and help you, but the cloud that is raining on you is yourself. You know what I mean? Like, the rain cloud It's literally her own brain. And while I understand being a victim to your own brain, maybe things that have happened to you from your childhood, you know, being a victim of a bad boyfriend, for one more time, your apologies were not first and foremost in your brain. The first and foremost thing in Cinder's brain was getting this document out as fast as possible. She couldn't wait a few days or anything. If I were her, I would have went quiet for a little bit. She put out that other thing that she said, and honestly, she should have let it breathe and just chill. But no, she needed to clear herself I don't know if maybe it's because she's got, you know, sponsorships and business, you know, things. Like, she's got to be on the ball and she needs to get back to streaming. I get it. But, like, girly, like, what happens if you got a death in the family or something, you know? Do you stream every single day, even if you got to go to a funeral? Like, you should have took a few days, but whatever. She barely took any time. Maybe she literally sat up overnight, typed this, fucking posted it, and went to bed with her boyfriend. You know, like, whatever. That's how I feel about it. I don't really buy it. I do feel a little bit bad for her, but honestly, it's so hard to feel bad for someone who can't even seem to feel bad for other people. Like, it's, you know, it's trying to cover her own ass. And there's very clear victims here, and like, she could have added herself to the victim list, but like this, no, she's just the villain, really. Just absolute villain. And you know, I hope she gets the help she needs so she doesn't do this to other people if she does continue to be a content creator and people continue to support her. Please advocate for her to get help. And that's it. I'm done with this. I'm over it. Please be nice to my Oshi. If anyone ever does stuff like this against Bao, Vienna, Yuzu, Numi, all the girls, I love them so much. And like, this is so mean, and you're a horrible person, and I just hope that all of the bad karma in the world that you put out, I hope it comes tenfold right back to you. Because I don't know if you know, but karma's a bitch. Yo, I'm gonna add this in the video, bro. So I like stopped recording and I closed the document and I go back to the comments and yo, Shy Lily 11 minutes ago. You are the fakest person I've ever had the displeasure of supporting. Yo, Shy Lily based.